This is workshop number 1, and we are going to be talking about module number 1 from the workbook. If you really struggle with procrastination, this is the best place to start, because if procrastination is causing you to be inefficient, you need to identify the root cause. I'm sure that you used to think that you were just inefficient, or you were lazy, or you had no willpower. That's normally what people feel when they have a very strong primitive brain that controls them and allows you to seek pleasure and choose the easiest thing to do and chooses the least conflict in your life. But now that you know about the primitive brain, you know that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're not weak-willed or anything like that. You just need to figure out when you procrastinate, why you procrastinate, and create a plan to overcome it, which is what Module 1 is all about. So the first thing, sorry, my eye is very itchy for some reason. The first thing you need to do is just take a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, and figure out when you procrastinate. So you want to list out all the reasons that you procrastinate. So when is it? Is it because you are lazy? Is it because you're bored by a task, or you're dreading a task, or you choose to do something that is more urgent or more exciting? You also need to list out the times of day when you procrastinate the most. Is it before lunch? Is it late in the afternoon? It may be a day of the week that you procrastinate more on a Thursday, or maybe if you've had a big weekend and you're tired on a Monday, you'll procrastinate more on a Monday. And then you need to list out all the tasks that will cause you to procrastinate. Is it getting quotes out? Is it making cold calls? Is it following up with customers? Is it working out? Is it calling family members? If you want to take it kind of to the whole life perspective, because you don't have to do this just on work, although work is what we're really kind of focusing on. So when you list out all the times that you procrastinate, all the reasons that you procrastinate, and all the tasks that you do, all the things that cause you to procrastinate, you'll have a big long list of all the things that cause you to procrastinate. Then you want to get to the root of why you're procrastinating. And the easiest way to do that is to ask yourself really good questions. So for each one of those things that you've got there, the reasons that you procrastinate, the times of day or the week that you procrastinate, and the tasks that cause you to procrastinate the most, you need to look at each of those things that you've listed and ask some really good questions. How long have you felt this way? How long have you wanted to procrastinate about that task, or why do you procrastinate at certain times of the day? Is there a health, diet, exercise, sleep issue that you could fix? Sometimes we procrastinate just because you're tired, and if you always procrastinate on a Monday morning because you're tired because you went to bed too late on a Sunday night, that's quite an easy fix. You just go to bed earlier. You also need to look at the reasons or the times or the tasks that cause you to procrastinate and say, how would training help me? Is there a way that I could learn how to do this task, particularly if it's a task, if it's something that you procrastinate over because you don't feel like you really know what you're talking about, or you don't really understand how that task works, then it may be a training issue. And if you get the training, you'll feel confident and you won't procrastinate over the task. The other thing to look at, I'm all about eliminating redundant activities. The thing that you're procrastinating over, are you procrastinating on completing this report or a form because you know no one ever looks at it? If that's the case, then you need to talk to whoever is the owner of that report or the document or the process and talk about whether you can actually eliminate it. But asking good questions for all those reasons that you procrastinate will help you get to the bottom of the task. And so then when you've looked at each of those reasons why you procrastinate, and you've tried to identify the root cause of why you procrastinate or why you feel a certain way, then you need to be able to list for each of those procrastinations 3 actions that you could take that would eliminate the procrastination, or at least significantly reduce the amount of time that you spend procrastinating. So for example, if just feeling lazy or feeling tired is one of the big reasons why you procrastinate over a lot of tasks or a lot of times or in a lot of situations, what you need to do is you need to say, okay, if I go to bed earlier, will that eliminate some of those procrastinations? if I'm bored and if I just don't enjoy the task that I'm doing, could I schedule something fun for afterwards that would motivate me to get through that task that I'm procrastinating about? You have to remember that not everybody's job is fun. There are things that you have to do that you just have to get through those boring parts, because it'll allow you to do the parts of the job that you enjoy more. I love doing training, I love doing coaching calls, but I hate making sales calls, and I hate scheduling all the coaching calls, because certain people, their schedules change and there's always backwards and forwards emails, and it just is a lot of effort to be able to get those calls scheduled. But when I'm on the call, all those kind of boring tasks are worthwhile. So I always make sure that I plan something that I enjoy for after I've scheduled all my calls, and you need to do that as well. So you need to do that for all the reasons that you procrastinate. What are 3 actions you could take that would eliminate the procrastination? Same thing for each time of the day or week when you procrastinate more. Write down 3 actions that you could take. Again, obviously going to bed early would help. If it's just that your priorities are not in order, make sure that you're doing a mind flush so that you're actually scheduling the correct tasks at the correct time of day. So you're not scheduling difficult tasks when you've got low motivation. You're scheduling the easy tasks when you've got low motivation. And then if it's a task that's causing you to procrastinate because you feel like you don't have enough training, then you need to be able to identify what you need to change to make sure, or to reduce or to eliminate that procrastination. So if it's doing sales calls but you don't really fully understand what you're selling, then that's a training issue. If it's just a confidence thing, you need to just figure out how you can feel more confident when you're making that call or when you're doing that task. And so then what you need to do is you've got a list of the things that cause you to procrastinate, the times that you procrastinate the most, and then you've written down 3 actions that you could take when you procrastinate. So if you know that, for example, making sales calls makes you procrastinate because you just don't feel like doing it, or it's not something that you enjoy, then you need to make sure that you are aware that you're about to make sales calls, and you need to know what it is that you're going to do that's going to help you eliminate the procrastination. So for sales call, if it's going through that customer file, if it's finding out as much information about that customer as you possibly can, if that's the action that you're going to take to stop you procrastinating about calls, take the action and then make the call. If it is that you know that on, let's see, Friday morning you're always tired because Thursday night is a big night out for you, then you just need to make the logical, sensible decision that you need to go to bed earlier on a Thursday night so you can be productive on a Friday morning. You need to anticipate the things that are coming up that cause you to procrastinate, and then take the action that you have decided ahead of time that will help you deal with and reduce your procrastination. So that is your weekend work. It's just identifying situations where you procrastinate and the action that you could take to reduce or minimize your procrastination. So work through it, and then during the week, all you need to do is just observe how you feel. And often when you're just aware of something, that is the first step to fixing it. So if you are just sitting with that feeling of procrastination when you know that a certain task is coming up or it's a certain time of the day, just by going, okay, I'm procrastinating. I know it's because I stayed up too late last night, or it's because I really don't want to talk to this customer, or I really don't want to deal with this coworker. Accept that feeling and then just power through it, and know that you have your logical prefrontal cortex and your plan, and you can power through and you can overcome your primitive brain. You can reduce your procrastination and you can get so much more done. So work through the exercise and eliminate or reduce your procrastination.